1800 hours Pakistan Standard Time. Assalamu alaikum. This is Radio Pakistan. The news read by Daman Zaman. The headlines. The Prime Minister says the government is striving to minimize the impact of price hike on the poor people. On the International Women's Day today, the President has emphasized women empowerment through better health, education, hereditary rights and financial independence. Pakistan Navy ship has participated in exercises with the naval ships of Japan, Russia and the United States in the Gulf of Aden and North Arabian Sea to ensure peace and order at sea. The rights defenders, Hurriyat leaders and organizations have urged the international community to hold India accountable for crimes against women by its troops in the illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir. In Myanmar, security forces have killed 2 more men by shooting them in the head during the ongoing protest by the labor unions against the military coup today. In Equatorial Guinea, 30 people were killed in a series of explosions at a military base in Bata City today. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Imran Khan has said it is the utmost efforts of the government to minimize the impact of price hike on the poor people. Chairing a meeting in Islamabad today regarding provision of direct subsidy to the deserving and poor families on the purchase of essential commodities including food items, the Prime Minister said we are cognizant of our responsibility of providing relief to the poor. Imran Khan said the government is giving priority to make the system of subsidy effective and transparent. Earlier, the Prime Minister was given a detailed briefing about the proposed SR's food stamp program. The Special Assistant on Poverty Alleviation, Dr. Sania Nishtar, informed the meeting that under this program, direct subsidy will be provided to the poor people for the purchase of essential commodities. Prime Minister Imran Khan, during a meeting with Senators Faisal Javed and Zishan Khanzada today, discussed matters relating to the expansion of Panagaz network and implementation of Nobody Sleeps Hungry program. The Prime Minister on the occasion said taking care of the needs of the poor and deserving people is the priority of the government. He said the government is making efforts to help the needy persons in consultation and cooperation of stakeholders at the individual and institutional levels. The President, Dr. Arif Alvi, has emphasized women empowerment through better health, education, hereditary rights and financial independence. Addressing a ceremony in connection with the International Women's Day in Islamabad today, he said the present government has passed several laws to empower women. The President said the government has started a program in which banks are offering loan up to 5 million rupees to women entrepreneurs. Highlighting the plight of women in the Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, Dr. Arif Alvi asked the world to take notice of human rights violations in the occupied territory. He said women in the Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir are subjected to violence by the state, but unfortunately the world remains silent on the issue. Speaking on the occasion, the Minister for Human Rights, Dr. Shireen Mazari, voiced concern over the rising incidence of Islamophobia in the Western world, saying niqab ban in Switzerland is also a violation of human rights. The Minister for Information and Broadcasting, Shibli Faraz, says empowerment of women is imperative to make the society civilized and enlightened. In a tweet on the occasion of International Women's Day, he said the government is committed to empower women in the society by ensuring equal opportunities and rights for women development. Meanwhile, in another tweet today, the Information Minister also commended the efforts of women journalists for using the power of their pen for the independence of journalism. He said, like men, women journalists have also played their role for the development of the media and provision of accurate information to the people. Like elsewhere in the world, the International Women's Day is being observed in Pakistan as well to acknowledge women's outstanding contributions in various fields. This year's theme for the day is Women in Leadership Achieving an Equal Future in a COVID-19 World. Besides celebrating women's achievements, the day is also aimed at raising awareness about women's equality, lobbying for accelerated gender parity, and fundraising for female-focused charities. To mark the day, different seminars, conferences, and events were organized in the country to highlight the significance of the role of women in the society. Radio Pakistan, in its national hookup at 1905 hours, will broadcast a special program in connection with the International Women's Day. The Pakistan Navy ship Alamgir with embarked helicopter participated in exercises with naval ships of Japan, Russia, and the United States in the Gulf of Aden and North Arabian Sea. According to the spokesperson of the Pakistan Navy, the exercises are aimed at enhancing the interoperability and augment collaborative efforts to ensure maritime security in the region. The deployment and participation in exercises by the Pakistan Navy ship Alamgir is a testimony of Pakistan Navy's resolve to ensure peace and order at sea while maintaining close relations with friendly navies. This is Radio Pakistan giving you the news. As the world observed the International Women's Day today, miseries of the Kashmiri women inflicted by the Indian Forces personnel continue unabated in the illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir. According to a report released by the research section of the Kashmir Media Service today, on the occasion of the Global Women's Day, thousands of women are among 95,747 Kashmiris martyred by the Indian state machinery since January 1989. At least 675 women have been martyred by the troops since January 2001. Over a dozen women, including Asiya Andarabi, Fahmida Sofi, Nahida Nasreen, Nasima Bano, Insha Tariq, Shazia Akhtar, Hina Bashir, Asiya Bano, and Alas Ara are facing illegal detention for representing the Kashmiri people's righteous demand for their inalienable right to self-determination. Hurriyat leaders, organizations, and rights defenders in their statements in Srinagar called upon the international community to hold India accountable for crimes against women by its troops in the disputed territory. Former Australian Senator Lee Rhiannon, in her message on the International Women's Day, asked for dedicating this year's day to the Kashmiri women's demand for self-determination. She stressed the need to expose the Indian crimes against Kashmiri women. The American Secretary of State Antony Blinken has proposed a series of steps to help restart the stalled peace talks between the government of Afghanistan and the Taliban. In a letter to the Afghan President Ashraf Ghani, Antony Blinken, presenting a series of proposals, called for a 90-day easing of violence and a transitional government comprising both the sides. He also proposed a transitional peace government to usher the country through this precarious period followed by national elections, as well as a United Nations-led peace conference in Turkey attended by foreign ministers and envoys from Russia, China, Pakistan, Iran, India, and the United States. In Myanmar, 2 protesters have been killed by gunshot wounds in the head as Myanmar's biggest trade unions began a nationwide strike in the latest attempt to pressure the country's generals. The killing came as shops, factories and banks in the main city of Yangon remained closed in response to a call by 18 labour organizations which urged the workers' union and non-union alike to stop work to reverse the February 1 coup and restore Aung San Suu Kyi's elected government to power. The union said the time to take action in defense of our democracy is now, and no one can force any Myanmar citizen to work. We are not slaves to the military junta now, and we never shall be. In the Equatorial Guinea, 30 people were killed and more than 400 injured in a series of explosions at a military base in Bata City. The cause of the explosions was stubble burning by farmers and negligence in the storage of dynamite at the base. All buildings and homes in the city suffered huge damage. And finally, the weather. Mainly dry weather is likely to prevail in most parts of the country during the next 24 hours. However, rain with wind thunderstorm is expected in Upper Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, North Baluchistan, Gilgit-Baltistan and Kashmir. And that is the end of this news bulletin. For more news and analyses, log on to our website, radio.gov.pk, and you can also watch the live video streaming of our bulletins on the link facebook.com/Radio Pakistan News Official.